What's up, legendary vision? We got a very special episode today, very legendary episode. We're gonna call this one Royce. Got a very special guest with me today, Nick Williams.
You already know what it is. This is 100% royalty. This is a clothing line, you know what I'm saying? A brand that lets you know that your self-worth. You don't have to be born in a royalty. You just got to know your royalty. So one of the things is, we got a lot of things going on, trying to do what we need to do and help our black community and do what we got to do.
Yeah. So tell me about your background. How'd you get started?
Well, I got started, man. One of the biggest things is I always been a hustler. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted something. I ain't let nobody tell me something and decide what I was gonna do with my life. So I said, you know what? I just take a chance, and you gotta believe in yourself, like I said before, and take the risk. Because the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell the people where you're from.
Well, I'm originally, from Brookhaven, Mississippi. That's what I rep. That's what it is. But I was born in New Orleans. Moved out. We moved and moved around. But I call Brookhaven, Mississippi my home. You know what it is.
Yep.
I have looked in the camera too.
You good? I can just look these out.
Yeah.
So moving forward, like when you coming up through high school and stuff, I understood you said you had like a record label. You also got your clothing brands. How did all this come apart?
Okay, so it came together. It was me and a couple of my buddies, and a couple of my brothers, we started as a group. This how it actually started. We started as single artists.
Yeah.
Then we got to talking one day, and everybody was like, hey man, I rap, and we rap, why you rap? All right, then we formed a group. Then we was called the Youngsters.
Yeah.
The Young Original United Gangbangers Still at War. That's what it stood for. But later on in life, we all went our different paths and everything, and I was one that was left. I ain't left. I was one that did my thing, and I said, you know what? I love this music so much, I'm gonna start a record label. And I was 17 when I did that. Now that takes guts in itself.
Yeah.
Being a 17-year-old man trying to do the record label thing. Then some situations in the streets, being in the streets, some things came up, something happened, and I kind of fell back from being in the limelight. So I got to the point where I wanted to, let me say, step back a little bit and get some other artists that felt like they had that drive, that motivation, that want to go do something.
Yep. And you really was in there like in the best time to be, like the late 99, 2000
Oh.
when you were really popping. You had Master P doing this thing, you had Cash Money, you had everybody really just coming in. So was that an influence for you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest, it was an influence for us because Cash Money, one of the things was they had 4 people in their group, and we was 4 people in our group. And we did a lot of little shows and everything, but like I said, everybody went their separate ways. But it was to the point where I talked to a couple guys that I had met through overtimes, that was in the industry. I also met Rick Robinson, Busy Bone, I met these guys, so it's a lot of little things that, like I said, transpired to make me want to get to the point where I just need to get back in the, the low part of it and just sit back and see the young guys get to the point where go after it,
Yeah. So how did you manage all this? Because you being 17, doing it with your friends, and then you're like, we both the same age, we close in age. How you gonna tell me what to do? And we start out together, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, one of the things too is thanks to God, I had a lot of wisdom, and a lot of people looked up to me at a young age, Even though I was young, I didn't have a young mind,
Yeah.
And I always, due to my background too, is I grew up different than a lot of the people that was around me. I wasn't your average 17-year-old guy, and I was one of the ones I always wanted something out of life. Because not only that, I was 17 years old. I almost bought my first house when I was 17.
Yeah.
The only reason why I didn't at the time because they told me I had to be 18 or I had to be married.
Yeah.
So, just that alone, I didn't see it right then how big of a gap where I was as my peers. But other people seen it and they would tell me, and I would just brush it off because I'm not a conceited person. So I know I just wanted to just try to make something happen because I don't want to work for nobody all my life.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
So what were some of your favorite parts of just coming up in the music industry?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, man. The shows for me,
Yeah.
and not just the shows, but the energy from everybody else, the understanding. Because one of the things about my music was it was real, and it was things that I had been through in life. Yeah, it might have sounded good, or it was to the point where, like I said, I was in the street, so it was on some street stuff on some of it, but I also had some heartfelt stuff, because I never forget, I made this one song called Ain't No Woman Like Your Mama.
Yeah.
And I let a couple guys listen to it, and one dude, he felt, it was so caught to him, that he actually almost started crying, you know what I'm saying? He walked out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so passionate about whatever I do. I'm passionate about it. I don't believe in doing nothing halfway. So I always went all the way in. If I believe in it, and I believe in myself, you know what I'm saying? If I don't believe in nothing else, but I know it's obstacles that's gonna get in your way, but I don't let that deter me from doing what I need to do. And one of the biggest things that I thank God that I don't know how to do, and that's give up.
Yeah. So how did you like pivot up over and start wanting to do clothing and come to 100% royalty?
Well, one of the things is this, man, you know, not to bash any of the brand that's out there, but me being a black man is this. I like to do research and know what I'm wearing or something. So you got brands that's out there right now that really, they might be a good clothing, but they still back in the early 60s on their designs. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to spit out no specific names, but if you look at some of the clothes that you wear or some of the shoes that you wear, you know, they got one, I ain't gonna say no name, but the tree, that's the same tree that they said back in slavery, where they used to hang people on. So that's one. Then you got another one where you got the pants on there, and it's with the wagon, and it's pulling both ways.
Yeah.
And if you go back into the black community and in the black history, it tells you what they used to do to black individuals. So me, I always wanted to do something. If I want to do a brand, I'm gonna do something to uplift people, not just one race of people, but everybody. Something where it could be on a equal playing field, and make sure when you do word is you supporting somebody that supports you also, and it look like you.
Yep. So where did the name 100% royalty come from? How'd you come up with that one?
Okay, well the name I'm gonna tell you. When I first started my first record label, I was 100% Real Records, and I got the tattoo right here. You know what I'm saying? It's 100% real. You know what I'm saying? And real stands for realizing everybody ain't loyal. And it was like that. And then me and my brother, we got on the phone one day, and he was doing his thing, and I was still doing my thing. And we said, you know what, man? Let's put this thing together. But everybody knew me as 100% Real Records, and I was like, well, you know what, man? I don't want it to look like it's just me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he had a brand called Royalty Rich, and I was like, well, you know what, man? You know, I always keep everything 100. So, man, let's do 100% royalty.
Yeah.
And so that's how we came up with the name. I come up with it, you know what I'm saying? We agreed upon it, and that's how I came with the 100% royalty for the record label. And then for the clothing line, I always had my own swag, and I always just, like I said before, I do so much research on certain things that I love, that's intriguing to me, that I was like, man, I'm wearing something that they really, it's really like a slap in the face, but when you don't know, that's understandable. But when I started learning and knowing, I said, man, you know what, either I need to change the narrative or I need to create something. And that's how I came about with the clothes.
So where do you go to do all this research? I know when you first started off, back then we didn't have all the tools we have today. You wasn't just about to go ask Google what it was. It wasn't that easy. You wasn't know, hey Siri, what's up? How do this?
Oh no, man. But I'm gonna tell you one of the things about that too is it's a good thing, because not saying that the millenniums are less for his work ethic, but when you have to do things differently, it's this what they do now is very easy to me. Whatever I want to know is the internet that I can get it. And I had obstacles in my way, like I said, back then too, because like I said, I was young, and a lot of people, they look at your age sometimes, and it's a different energy, you know. But I just did, man. They had the library, you know. And one of the biggest things I tell anybody, read. Reading is the key, man. I know a lot of people, man, when I was coming up, I liked to read, but I would only read what I was intrigued to. So, and then I had to make myself, I say, well, you know, sometimes you gotta read, you know what I'm saying, something, and then if you don't get an understanding, read it again. And if it's something you like, because I'm gonna tell you something, it don't matter how many times you read a certain book, especially if it's intriguing to you, especially for its information anyway. You can read that same book 3 or 4 times, you're gonna find something that you didn't get out of it every time.
I know, so with me, I be the same way. Just when I rereading something, then I have to force myself to start reading stuff I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? At first, you know, I was trying to just read just stuff that wouldn't help me, was trying to uplift me. Or to be doing other stuff too much, maybe listen too much music and stuff, rather than listen to podcasts and just reading business books, help myself grow.
Oh yeah.
So how do you go forward to your personal growth and stuff?
Well, one of the things too is on my personal growth. My personal growth comes from one of the biggest things in my life that really changed my life. It didn't change it just suddenly, but it made me change in a way where I knew I wanted to be here. And what I mean by that, my son. I had my son when I was getting ready to turn 18. So if you go back and you listen to what I just told y'all before, I was 17 years old when I first started my first record label. I had my son 2 months before I turned 18. So, and I was still, like I said, in the streets, you know what I'm saying? But I know my pops and everything, and we cool, you know what I'm saying? I can hit him on the phone, but I knew what I wanted as a father, so I knew, make sure I was gonna be there for my son.
Yeah.
So that would really help me keep myself out of trouble a little bit, you know what I'm saying? To the point where I know if I'm out here, I gotta be extra careful.
Yeah.
Cause, like I said, we know as in the black community how black men are, you know what I'm saying, portrayed anyway. So just trying to keep everything situated so I could be there in his life. So he didn't have to go through the things that I had to go through. And he didn't have to go ask somebody else, he can ask his father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because anybody can be a daddy, but it takes a real man to be a father.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's a true statement to myself. And I just believe that, you know.
Yeah. And that actually leads up to my next question. Like, how do you end up managing being a father, being a husband, being a businessman, you know, having to do all this other stuff, still being an investor?
Oh, yeah, you know, well, one of the things is, like, well, on the investor side, you know, my thing is this. I know that I could go spend $10, $15, maybe $20,000 if it's gonna make me money back.
Yeah.
I'm one of the individuals that if I'm gonna just go blow $100, it's hard for me to just go do that.
Yeah.
Because I look at it, okay, on the average person, let's just say use Mississippi. The average person might make $10, right?
Yeah.
So if it takes you 10 hours to make $100, why are you blowing it as fast as you get it?
Yeah.
And that's the way I think. Like, if people would really sit down and think about, okay, I'm going to work and I'm going to get $300 or $400 or whatever, but it took you a whole 40, 60, 80 hours or however many hours it takes.
Yeah.
Why are you blowing your money that fast? We as a community need to come together and start understanding how other cultures and other ethnic groups are doing. Because other ethnic groups, it's not that we don't spend our money with each other, but we don't support each other enough to the point where we don't know, a lot of us don't know our self-worth. Because in the black community, we spend trillions of dollars every day.
Yeah.
You know, well, not every day, but
the church is always spending power.
Exactly.
But they say we don't have no money, but we spend trillions.
Exactly.
We spend on the wrong things.
Exactly. And not only just, if we could just start spending on ourselves, and if you're a right individual as a black in the black community, if they support you, it's only right that you come back and support your community.
Yep.
And that's one of the keys to me. You know, it's cool and fine and dandy you making the money. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, but it's about how you impact your people too. You know what I'm saying? The people of your community. And I'm not just saying just because you know we in a community. I mean, in a situation where we gonna always be here. You know what I'm saying? There's no getting rid of us.
Yeah.
So we can work together. But one of the things, like I said, for us in the community is we need to understand what our worth is. And you know, that was on the investing side, and now on the husband side and the father. Well, one of the things is like I said, I'm gonna make time for family. You know, because you say you gotta put God first, God, family, then anything else. But one of the things too is you gotta know how to set yourself up for a plan. For us, don't put too much eggs in one basket. Because I'm gonna always be there for my children. But now they're to the point where they're at an age now where I know my vision is not their vision. So I can't wait on them to support me. You see what I'm saying? Because they young, but I done taught them everything that I could teach them. And I did what I set out to do. I wanted to make sure that they didn't have to ask nobody else, that they could ask their daddy, you know what I'm saying, or their mama. But I do a lot of stuff, like you said before, for the investing, the business, you know, and I do stocks, you know what I'm saying, things of that sort. So just to have somebody that you can go to is a big plus, because a lot of things that I learned on my own.
Yeah. It giving them that knowledge, you're giving them a foot ahead in life. So they want to go learn on their own, save some time, and just put them in a better position for the future.
Mm-hmm. And another thing I want to iterate on, man. As a community, and like I said, as a black man, because I'm a black man first. As an individual, we need to understand that just because you got it out the mud, you should not want your children to have to get it out the mud. Now, I'm not saying that you force anything on them, but you all, if I started here, my children should be able to start here if I do what I'm supposed to do. And if they do like they supposed to do, their children will be able to start here. And if y'all see, the ladder keeps going up. So that's one of the things we got to keep thinking about too is can't just live for the day. Even, we know tomorrow is not promised, but you want to live for the future.
Yep. Yeah. I believe that's big, especially up in our community, because I know a lot of kids just come out to school, they got tons of debt, not understanding what they're going to do for them. Like when they get ready to go get a house, they can look at that debt to income. You got all these student loans. You get steps your credit. And then you can't go get a house. You can't get nowhere in a good neighborhood to rent. And then when you try to go get a credit card, they don't tell you don't got credit. When you ask how you get credit, you got to get credit cards and simple loans. So it's kind of like, what came first, the goose or the egg. You know what I'm saying? So,
go ahead.
So it's just like the lack, lack of communication and lack of financial literacy in our community.
Mm-hmm. And the lack of knowledge is the reason why people perish. And I'm gonna tell you something. When you talk about school and things of that sort, it's good for some folks, and I'm not saying it's not good at all. But I had a half academic scholarship, and I didn't take it up on it. And one of the reasons was my train of thought at the time, and it's kind of still like that because you can learn what you want to learn now, especially with everything with the information that's out there. But I looked at it just like you said. When I was 17 years old, I said, man, because I graduated, I could have graduated a whole year early, but I didn't have but one class my senior year because of the situation with a couple of seniors. Then, so I only had one class. I didn't even go the whole senior year. I only went to school for 3 months my senior year. And I looked at it like this here. I said, I already had my son. I wasn't married at the time. And I'm like, man, look, I could go to school. Yeah, I got a half academic scholarship. I said, that's a possibility I finish. But if I had set my mind to it, I would have finished. But then I'm going to be racking up all this debt. Then I need to put my son in a place where he could have somewhere to stay, you know what I'm saying? And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to just go to work, and I'm going to learn what I can learn and do what I do. And so I did that. And thinking about going back to an earlier question, but really not going back to the question, but going back to show you some things. I went to Delta State, and I talked to Miss Trisha Walker.
Yeah.
I never forget this meeting that we had. And I was only going at the time to get the certification because a lot of times when I was messing with the music and I was doing the engineering and everything, a lot of people, they didn't, unless you had the certification, it was to the point where it was frowned upon, Like I said, and I never forget the talk that we had. She told me, she said, son, I'm going to tell you, well, she didn't say son, she said, I'm going to tell you something. You're a unique individual. And I said, why you say that? She said, because I don't see how you know everything you know, and you tell me you ain't never been to college. And that meeting always stuck with me. And it just, and like I told her too, I said one of the biggest reasons too was I'm coming up here to learn, but I'm really just coming for the certification because I do this. I was in the midst of doing everything then. And she told me that, and I was like, you know what, I had a long drive home, and I just got to thinking it, And just this year, me and one of my other partners, man, and he got a professor, and that me and him both liked it. And she told him, she was like, we don't educate y'all.
Yeah.
You educate yourself.
Yeah.
We just give you the information. And it was an epiphany for me because I was like, you know what? Man, I done taught myself all these years, and I ain't went to school.
Yep.
And I'm not telling, I'm not telling no one to not go to school because what's my path was my path. You got to find your own path, but just think about it, man. Go to a 4-year college. You know what I'm saying? You looking at racking up easy $100,000 if you do the whole 4 years.
Especially then, just say you come, not even knowing that if you get a major where you might not be getting paid, but you got all this debt. Just going to the right school could be a better fit. Going to community college.
Mm-hmm.
Just actually looking up, seeing what scholarships are available for you.
And that's the key, you know, because there's a lot of scholarships out here that we don't even. You got a chance to get it, but if you're the only one that signed up for it, you get it just because you're the only one from something they say.
Yeah.
You see, so you know, then that's a step ahead, man. Like I said, you gotta don't look for nobody to hand out nothing, man. Don't look for nobody to hand out nothing. You know, I tell my children when they were small coming up, like you got family, they love you, but I'm gonna tell you something. Once you walk out that door, the world don't care about nobody.
Yeah.
The world don't care about nobody. And it's not always about what you can do, it's what you can do right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it is what it is, but knowing what you up against in life, you know how to go at it. You know what I mean?
So next time I want to go pivot off into, I know you said you was getting to the house when you was at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that whole process for you?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Listen. I'm gonna tell you, I never forget the first property I ever bought in my life. I was me and my mom, we was talking, and I told her what I wanted to do. Well, and then we got the people, and when it was time to pay,
Yeah.
I had the money, cash money, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm gonna back out, man. I ain't gonna get them folks all my money.
Yeah, I know how it is hard to get this purchase.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, this is my first time, so it was like, man, it's unfamiliarity, but I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm counting these hundreds out, man. I'm counting these hundreds out, so I'm saying, man, look, I'm gonna take my money back while I'm counting the money, right? And I'm telling you, man, it was crazy. So, I ended up buying a property, and I said, well, you know, it is what it is. So I sat on the property for a couple of years, and I ended up going to work offshore, and I had already started on my house before I did it.
Yeah.
And I was doing it myself because I always thought I could do anything that I put my mind to, and I don't let nobody tell me different.
Yeah.
So I had started building a house. I ain't went to school for it, but I could build a house. You know what I'm saying? And we still stay in that house to this day. And but one thing I tell anybody, you know, because we moved in a little early, because my at the time, like I said, she wasn't my wife, but my wife now, she was just ready to come and be closer. You know what I'm saying? She wanted to get closer into the city. So I had everything done, but I still had some stuff I had to do in the inside. You know what I'm saying? I had to still do some floors and stuff like that for the top floors, like the laminate floors and stuff like that. And what I was saying was, now what I know now, I would never move into, if I'm building it or whatever, I would never move in until it's all the way done.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But other than, man, that's how I got in it. And then, man, I just fell in love with it even more. Because when you put your mind to something, you do it.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to tell you something, too. Now, you got to think about it. Now, I'm working, going back, coming back home, working, going back. And before I got completely done with it, and I hate to be going back when I'm telling the story, but I just thought about it. I never forget, man, I had done framed the house up. And I got some people to work on it on certain things when I wasn't there also, because I don't want nobody to think I did everything, because I didn't do everything. Man, I never forget, man, it was framed up, man. I had some blacked it in a little bit. And man, I had a nice little job making some good money, man. And man, I was at the house, and I never forget, man, I was sitting, and I was just sitting laying across my car. I had my head down, and my mom, she had came by and she seen me, and she had walked up to me. She said, "Son, what's going on?" And I said, "Mom, I'm putting all my money in this house."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, "Mom, I'm putting all my money in this house, man." And I'm like, man, what, man? I mean, because I'm a numbers guy. I know how much I could have done saved by now.
Yeah.
And so she like, my mom, I never forget, she put her arm around me, and she told me to walk with her. And we took like 4 or 5 steps. I'm talking about, this is exactly what happened. And she said, turn around. So I turn around and I look at the house. I look like this here, and I'm looking at the house, and she said, you see that right there? She said, you might not know it right now, but when you get done, you're going to be further ahead in life than you'll ever know. And at the time, I'm going to be real with y'all, like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, moms, you know, I said, all right, Mom, you know what I'm saying? So it brought my spirit up a little bit, but I'm still thinking about all my money I'm putting in this house. So later on, like I said, I got done with it, and I never paid rent. I never had to pay rent in my life. You know, and to this day, you know, I thank God for my mom's really, because I could have easily, I ain't gonna say I would have stopped, but I probably would have slowed down.
Yeah.
And I just thank God, you know what I'm saying, for that, you know, because she lifted me a little bit more, and to the point where it's like, okay, all right. But like I said, I'm gonna be real with you. I was like, nah, man, it's cool, but I hear what you're saying, but like I said, it worked out just like she said. It worked out just like she said. Yeah.
Yep. So I just started getting the rental properties.
Oh man, listen, I told you I got the bug.
Yeah.
I got the bug because I'm like, man, I thought about it. I said, you know, because like I said, I'm a numbers guy. I always loved the math. I was taking trig when I was in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
Trig and calculus, you know. So I always knew about numbers. So I'm saying to myself, and I contracted my own workout also.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had no contract. I contracted it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, these numbers, they looking good.
Yeah.
And then I got to thinking. I said, you know what? If I get a couple more properties,
Yeah.
I ain't got to go to work for nobody else.
Yep.
And that's what I dealt with the goal.
Yeah.
And when I got on that mindset, I was like, you know what? And that's where I'm at now. Like, you know, you can still work, but make sure you got a plan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause I think it was 50 Cent, man. I think he said, you ain't making money till you are not making money until you're not working for it. That's when you're making money. And it's passive income, you know?
Yeah.
And man, I just, like I said. And another thing too was, like I said, my pops, I mean, we cool and everything. I know him and everything, you know what I'm saying? But my mother was a single mother, you know?
Yeah.
And I always told myself, when I do these houses, I'm gonna make sure it's comfortable enough in case it be, because a lot of times you're gonna deal with women, you know what I'm saying, for us on the placement, you know what I'm saying? So I always wanted to make sure it was right. It was a nice place. It's about the money, but it's not about the money. Because like I said, I was in a situation with my mom, you know what I'm saying, was a single mother. So, and I know how that is coming up, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's sad. I ain't gonna say sad, but we just need to uplift our people, man. That's just what it is, man.
Yeah. So the next question would be like, how'd you get into investing? Because now you got your clothes, you got your real estate, you got the music going there. How'd you get into stocks?
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Coach Mack, I was in U.S. history. Coach Mack in Brookhaven, Mississippi. I never forget this. If I would have listened to him, I'd probably be a millionaire today.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was, we was in history class, and I don't like to weigh intelligence or nothing, you know what I'm saying, because I believe anybody, they just good at what they like to do, or they good at something. Everybody can be good at something if they want to be. Yeah. And he I never forget, he said, hey, Nick, man, I know you're a pretty smart guy. Man, you ever thought about getting into stocks? I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know too much about that. Yeah. He said, yeah, man, and these exact words he said, man, yeah, I'm telling you, man, that old Yahoo and Google. Now, you got to understand, this is the early 2000. You know, and think about where that's at now.
Yeah.
So, I was like, man, yeah, man, I'm going to check into it. And see, you got to mind what I said, too. I was still in the street, too. So, it was like, I heard what he said, but I didn't listen to it. No, I listened to what he said, but I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Because if I would have heard him, I could have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would have acted on it. So, later on in life, me and a guy, we was talking, we was sitting at the table. And it's crazy because I ended up getting some of the stock that we was talking about. And I never forget him, Raymond Pickney, he was a safety rep. Me and him became real close, real cool, real black guy, you know what I'm saying? But real cool, we were real cool. And he was telling me about, man, Nick, we was overseas too. He said, man, Nick, bro, if I was invested in Apple, man, back in the days when I was gonna do it, man, I wouldn't be here, Nick.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, man, but it's hard to invest in something when it's going down. I said, oh yeah. So mind you now, I was at home, I want to say about, the oil field had took a dive about 2015, I want to say. And I said, you know what?
Yeah.
How to do stocks, you know what I'm saying? It's time to learn now, you know?
Yeah.
And me and one of my brothers, man, we was watching Apple. And I said, you know what? And when I was watching Apple, the conversation that me and him had sitting at the table is in my head. We looking at Apple, man. Apple done went down. So Apple had went down like $92.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, man. Me and my brother were talking. We said, man, look. When it go down, bro, I said, this is what I tell him. I said, the first time we see it start to go up, man, I'm gonna buy some. So we watching it. I'm talking about we watching it faithfully now. And one of the things too is, like I said, I'm talking about the stocks when we talking about investing, because I don't want nobody to think, okay, we promoting, ain't nobody giving us no money, no nothing like that. But so when it went up just a little bit, I called my people on that I deal with. I'm talking to the broker. I say, hey, man, go ahead and buy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I told him the amount, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and buy. Go ahead and buy. He's like, man, you sure you want to buy? I said, yeah, man, go ahead and buy. It's going up, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead and buy. So, boom, I get off the phone. So it's going up. And then he said confirm, but I didn't see it. I said, man, it is going up, man. I said, oh, man, bro. Because like I said, I was at the house. That's what I'm doing now. And I was like, man, I ain't even get it, man. So guess what happened? So I called about something else. And they said, well, Mr. Williams, if you do like you did on Apple, you'll be all right. Yeah. So I said, I ain't say nothing. So I paused for a second. So I went into my portfolio. I said, all right, I need to really just check, you know what I'm saying, see what's going on. And it was like, oh, I had it, what I had got. And like, all right. So one of the things about it too is, I like the iPhone. I like Apple products, you know what I'm saying? Because one of the things was the security about it, you know what I'm saying? And it just grew on to me. So it was like a little niche, like, okay, you could do this. You know, I'm not telling nobody to go not use certain people, because the thing about whatever you get into, you're gonna have to do your due diligence. Yeah. And you can't just, you gotta do some reading.
Yeah.
Like I said, because I read a couple books that Warren Buffett had wrote about, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things he said, once you get in a stock, now I'm not telling everybody to do this because you got your own mind, but he said, if you get in the stock, if you ain't willing to hold it for at least for 10 years, why you getting in it?
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, you do have other people that get in something and they'll hit, boom, you know what I'm saying? But that happened very seldom. Like, you know what's going on now with the stock, what they got this Reddit team that they jumping up these stocks, but if you don't know when to get out, you can lose big too. Yeah. One of the things I tell anybody is make sure you have an understanding on whatever you get into. Because I'm one of them people, and I don't care what nobody say. If anybody tell you this, you can tell them to come holler at me and I'll tell them something different. There is no question that is a dumb question. Because if it's something that you don't know it. It don't matter how small it is. And don't let nobody else make you feel like you smaller because you didn't know something. Because there's nothing wrong with not knowing. Yeah.
I know that was like big for me. Kind of, I was like 16. I think this was back in like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So about 2015, I ended up going to this football camp. But same when we went there, when they ended up having a business camp there too. And since we was all there, they made us go sit in the auditorium with them. So Phil Knight and Steve Jobs in there. And at that time, you know, they going around shaking hands, talking to people, asking what we here for. You know, me and my boys there to play football. We just ready, like, let us outside. None of this. This old white man up here talking. What are you up here talking about? Yeah, you need to learn how to build a brand, how to do marketing. I ain't trying to hear none of this. And then at the end of the thing, you're like, all right, we're going to do a giveaway. Anybody in the crowd guess who I am? I don't know. Everybody looking around.
Didn't nobody know who he was?
We up there for football,
man.
Yeah. Ain't none of the business kids in there yet.
Yeah, okay.
So we in here for football, we looking around like, who this is? I want everybody to pull out your phone. So we put out our phones. You're like, turn around, just tell them what's on the back. You know, some people, most everybody say Apple. You're like, now when the other man was like, everybody look at your feet. And then all our cleats were Nike. It was like, hey, why don't you get some stuff, what's in your pocket and whose shoes on your feet?
So that was a big eye opener, you know? That's that.
Yeah. You're like, y'all was so excited to go outside and see some of these guys, but now, y'all need to be trying to learn how to own the team. So think about that. If they can pay them millions, think about what the owner making. That's when I really got into having some ownership and getting up businesses and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Just you saying that is one of the things that was intriguing to me, man. Especially like I said, for the oil field, and it's a few people that was out there. They always used to tell me I was different, and I ain't think nothing about it. You know what I'm saying at the time, but in the oil field, I'm gonna tell you something. 24 hours of the day, somebody is working.
Yeah.
24 hours of the day, 365 days of the year, somebody is working. The man who owned that company, he chilling.
Yeah.
He chilling. And when you said that, and that's one of the things I used to always tell people, man. And I used to say, they used to talk that, I ain't gonna say think I was crazy. They be like, man, you wild, bro. They used to always, one dude say, you got $1 million ideal away from leaving there, huh?
Yeah.
And it was to the point where I told him one day, I said, man, I don't want to be the highest paid person on the rig.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that owned the rig.
Yeah.
And they look at me crazy, but that's just the way I thought. I never thought put myself in a box where somebody tell you something and, oh man, no. And I tell people this all the time also, man. Be around positive people. Because you around positive people, man, positive people bring positive energy. I done got big on energy, you know.
Yeah.
And if you round, and do a test of friends, test your friends. If you come up with an idea or just something, now, and they be on some negative stuff, and that person is always negative, I hate to say it, but get rid of them.
Yeah.
Stay away from them, because I'm gonna tell you something. Negative energy, before you know it, you'll get to be getting his thoughts.
Yeah.
You'll get his thoughts. And even if a strong-minded person, you know what I'm saying, you'll start seeing yourself you'll do things like, man, that ain't even in my character. You know what I'm saying? So just stay around positive people and keep that positive energy around, you know. And one of the things too is I believe in you put good in this world, good gonna come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me too, cause I know a lot of people around here. You gotta show something to your friends, go do this, go do that. Well, my boy Tommy got a clothing line. You know, go, man, they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't about to do. So it really took all that to tell that man he couldn't do this. You know, I'm saying, even if you don't want to buy one of his shirts, there ain't nothing to go put a post up, have a market, go give him a like on his page or something. There's more ways to do it just one.
And that's
to support somebody.
Exactly. I'm gonna tell you something. That's one thing about me is this. When I started out with this brand, I was looking for more of the no's than the yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you because I got that kind of drive. That's okay. You ain't gotta believe in it now.
Yep.
But one day you gonna see it when it's gonna be everywhere. And then you ain't gonna have no choice. Cause you gonna wanna be like somebody else. But you ain't gonna have the same passion or reason why they word or know why they word. Or then that might make you say, man, I actually met the guy. But now I can't even get close to him because he done made it so much to the point where it's not that he gonna be conceited or something, but it's you can't be so accessible at that point then. You see what I'm saying? And like you say, it's nothing to put a comment, a post, a share. That's a click of a button.
It's free. It takes 2 seconds out your day. That most people out here wasting anyway. You're gonna be flipping through Netflix looking for something to watch, and you on Instagram anyway. So you might as well go and share it. At least like their picture or something. They don't do nothing. It ain't hurt nobody.
Nobody.
And then I know this would be crazy. Just the way just people mindset of just because you know they rather see you do bad rather than doing good.
Yeah, my oldest brother told me one day. He said, "Man, I'm gonna tell you something, Nick." He said, "I see, cause we cheer each other on though.
Yeah.
Like, go get it, bro. That's what we here for. You know what I'm saying? You want to have that support system. You know what I'm saying? And he made me realize something too. You know, it's a difference between family and relatives, man. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, cause he was, well, nah, my bad. I'm crossing things though. I forgot what I was gonna say now. No. We were talking about doing good. He told me. He said, man, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, people want to see you do good, but some people don't want to see you do better than them.
Yep. There's a lot of that. Nobody wants you to outdo them.
And that's one thing I thank God for, bro. I never been a jealous person. I never been an envious person. And I never been a point where I'm hating on somebody because of what they got or what it is. Because in life, I thank God for blessing me to understand. I don't know what it took for that man to get what he got. So that's one of the things that's so passionate. That's why I say I'm passionate about things, man. I'm passionate about whatever I do. And you know, like I said, man, when I do things, it's from the heart. If I can't do it from my heart, I will not do it.
Yep.